What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer. So a new Obelisk card just came out, and I thought I'd go over that. And also, I just want to go over every single Egyptian God support card there is, and see if there is anything good. It's like a review of literally all the new support, and I'll give my opinions on them. Some of them I haven't talked about, because I've just kind of been bad, or whatever the case may be. But we're going to take the time now to look at the new, look at the old, and see if there actually is a coherent strategy here, because in my mind, I'm not seeing it. Alright, so this is the new card, Soul Energy Max. I'm sure it won't be called that, but if you control Obelisk the Tormentor, whose original attribute is Divine, tribute 2 face-up monsters, except that Obelisk the Tormentor destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, inflict 4,000 damage to your opponent. Which is good. That's a good effect, but there is one other issue, right? There's one issue that is just kind of fallen, but through the cracks. And that problem is, it's still really, really, really hard to get like the Egyptian gods on the board. The main way to do it is like soul crossing, but it's like, where are these where are these face-up monsters? Where is this plethora of cards on the board that you just were like, man, I didn't know what to do with these extra monsters. You're already tributing 3 to get them out on the field. And the other issue is, like, if you special summon them, they're just gone. It's just ignored. So that's, dude, inflicting 4k damage, like, that's game ending, right? But making it happen is a completely different situation. Alright, we'll just keep going here. During the main or battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Obelisk the Tormentor from your deck to your hand. Then, immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon 1 Obelisk the Tormentor. Now, that is sick. It's a tribute summon and a searcher. You have to appreciate that. Also, you don't have to. You can just add it to your hand if you want to. But obviously, it can be activated during your opponent's turn. So if you just have, like, one of your, like, Ra's disciples out there, and you're just like, wow, I don't have another way to normal summon. Well, now you finally do. So, yay. Congratulations. Let's go. Like, I think this is a good card. This is probably the best support card that's come out in a long, long time for the Egyptian gods. So, shout out. But it's just that first requirement, I don't know how it's going to work. But, alright, finally we have something decent to work with. There's no way to search any of these cards out, of course. Like, there's nothing like that. Like, who needs a searcher for the Egyptian gods? You just got to hard draw them all. That's pretty cool. So thank goodness we're getting all this new support, though. This one came out a while ago, but it was just such a mediocre card. I think it's from the anime, so you can't be too mad at stuff like that. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target 1 spell in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your field. So a lot of stuff has to be in place already. You can banish this card from your graveyard and send 1 monster reborn from your hand or set on the field to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Obelisk the Tormentor from your graveyard in defense position, and if it was activated during your opponent's turn for the rest of the turn while you control the special summon monsters, all monsters your opponent controls must attack. I know it's I'm pretty sure it's an anime card, but could they have made it worse? Could they have tried to make this card just a little worse? It has to be special summon in defense position, so when they're attacking into it, they're probably not going to be destroyed. It's like they put as little effort they could into making this card good. Like, literally the least amount of effort. This one came out a bit ago, but when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can discard a spell and trap, so there's cost. Why? Who benefits from this? Then target, your opponent does, obviously. Then target 1 Divine Beast monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position, then change the attack target to it. During the end phase, if you control a Divine Beast monster, you can destroy all face-up cards your opponent controls that were activated this turn. Just destroy all face-up cards on the field. You're putting so many resources into making this card possible. I want this card to be good because it special summons an Egyptian god. Why does it have to be upon an attack declaration? Why are these cards so bad? Alright, cool. Let's just keep going. One with the Sun God, or Sun God Unification. If you control a monster whose original name is the Winged Dragon of Ra, You can activate this card the turn it was set. Pretty cool. During the main phase, you can pay life points so you only have 100 left. One special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra you control gains attack and defense equal to the amount of life points paid, even if this card leaves the field. Once per turn, you contribute one the Winged Dragon of Ra, gain life points equal to its attack on the field. You cannot activate both the effects in the same chain. Okay, you can activate them both in the same turn, but not in the same chain. I don't know why this was a trap card. Or I guess you just want to be able to keep using it, so that's kind of nice. So the only way that this makes any sense at all is if it was summoned off of Sphere mode, right? Now, does this card count as the Winged Dragon of Ra? I don't think so. So literally the only way that this makes any sense is if you summon it off of the Sphere mode. So it's like a multiple card combo, basically. You have to A, tribute summon with the Sphere mode, wait a turn, hope it stays on the field, set this card, next turn, special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra, gain a bunch of attack. Sick. And somehow if your opponent's alive with literally a cajillion attack Winged Dragon of Ra, you get to gain those life points. Heck yeah, man. That's sick. Dark Spell Regeneration. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target one spell in your opponent's graveyard, set it to your field. Same thing as the other one. You can banish this card from your graveyard and send one monster reborn from your hand or set on your field to the graveyard. Special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra from your graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. Then you can send one monster your opponent controls to the graveyard. Also send that special summon monster to the graveyard during the end phase. Can't keep it on the board. Can't have a good, effect, obviously. But your opponent has to have a spell in the graveyard. Like, ugh, that's so stupid. Same thing with this card. This card's been around forever, but, might as well just go over it because maybe you forgot what the effect was. Honestly, sometimes I do too. This is the Winged Dragon of Ra Immortal Phoenix. This is, of course, from the anime. It's a very good looking card. I won't say anything different than that. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by its own effect. If the Winged Dragon of Ra is sent from the field to the graveyard, while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card. Wait a second. So I guess the idea is you have to, A, have Immortal Phoenix in your graveyard. Special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra. Gain a bunch of attack. Gain those life points. I think that creates a loop, right? But that takes a lot of setup. I get it, right? Like you can discard with Millennium Revelation the Winged Dragon of Ra. Special summon it. Well, actually, this... I don't know, that makes sense, because you can... you can special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra this way. It has no attack, so then you pay the life points. I'm trying... There's so many cards involved in this, it's like almost stupid to think about. This card, it's stupid. You're never going to use this card. But I'm trying to think of the best application of this. Then, so you discard the Winged Dragon of Ra, special summon it, no attack points, then you get to pay all your life points, and then you tribute it later to gain those life points back. And if this is in your graveyard, you've then created a loop. And you now have the life points, right? Because the second part of this effect is, no cards can be activated in response to this activation. Very cool. You could pay 1,000 life points, send one monster on the field to the graveyard. I wish it was send one card. That'd be really cool. Once per turn during the end phase, send this card to the graveyard. Special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode, from your hand, deck, or graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. Good thing there's no way to search any of these cards out so that this even becomes remotely possible. Guardian Slime. I like this card. I think they should actually center the entire archetype around this card. Because if you take battle or effect damage, so you can inflict battle damage upon yourself, right? Which is cool, which is a good part about this card. But nothing in archetype makes you take damage, and that's the problem. You have to find other ways to do that. Now, if there were cards that supported any of these, like at all, to take damage and then give you other, cards within the archetype, now this is great because you can special summon this card. It helps you go into Guardian Slime. It helps you add spells and traps from your hand that specifically list it. So yes, technically this is a searcher, but it is the slowest searcher ever as of right now. I'm not saying in the future there won't, but This card is something this is a good card, right? And I wish they would start easing their way towards making this card way better, because I know it can be. Sphere mode, you get tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters, and then special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra, and, from your side of the field, which is great. Ra's Disciple, it's theoretically good, and it becomes a little better because of this card. Simply because, the Winged Dragon of Ra, it's 3 monsters. It's pretty restrictive, but, I mean, why, when this card was designed, it's like you can also tribute summon the Egyptian gods the turn you special summon these cards, right? It's already so restrictive. Like, otherwise, like, you have to have, like, double summon or whatever the case may be, which I think is stupid. Reactor Slime, special summon 2 slime tokens. Pretty cool, I guess. And then you can tribute this card, set 1 metal reflex slime from your deck, and which also turns into, the Egyptian god slime, which we'll go over in a bit, I guess. This one kind of just slipped in out of nowhere. Divine Evolution. This card's activation effect cannot be negated. Choose 1 monster you control whose original type is divine, or it's like the Wicked cards too. It gains 1,000 attack. Its effects and its activated effects cannot be negated. I guess that's pretty cool. When this card declares an attack. See, I wish this card said it can't be responded to. I think that would even be better. Because if they're able to, like, in a chain, get rid of, like, your Egyptian god, then, like, this card's just a waste. But it also gains this effect, and it seems like it's, like, for the rest of the duel, so that's pretty neat. I wish it made it unaffected by card effects. Like, that would be pretty cool, too, but, again, you can't have good cards in this archetype, apparently. When this card declares an attack, your opponent send 1 monster they control to the graveyard. You can make your opponent send 1 monster they control, and it's their choice. Again, you gotta make sure this card's balanced, because it's just too powerful now. Like, why can't you choose? Like, why? What's the real reason? This is the Egyptian gods. Why are there so many restrictions on it? I think this card stinks, because in your hand, if you can't tribute summon, well, cool beans. Like, you're done for. Ancient Chant searches out the Winged Dragon of Ra. This card's insane. It's very good. It lets you summon twice, of course. Neato. Blaze Cannon makes that card unaffected by card effects, so I think this card's also very good. So the Winged Dragon of Ra stuff obviously is the best support of all of this. Exchanging Souls lets you tribute like 3 of your opponent's monsters, but until the end of the next turn, you can only activate 1 card or effect. The Egyptian gods aren't that good. They're just not. I like this card, of course, because of like how powerful it is, but come on, man. Thunder Force attack, destroys all basically face-up monsters they control. And then if you activate it during your turn, you get to draw cards equal to the number destroyed. They can't be negated, which is also great. But you can't search it, so it's just like if you have a full Egyptian god deck and you have Obelisk in your hand, well, all right, there you go. You got nothing going for you. Fist of Fate negates a face-up monster, then destroys all spells and traps if you activate it during your main phase. This card's also good, not searchable. This is Millennium Revelation. This card lets you discard a Divine Beast monster, add monster reborn from your deck to your hand, and then you can also special summon the Winged Dragon of Ra. So this card is good, but not like super high impact. Mount of the Bound Creator. Level 10 or higher monsters can't be targeted. If it's destroyed, it gets you add a Divine Beast monster, which is like, it's alright. Like, it's okay. Like, it's just, again, like, there's just not enough. I just feel like there's not enough support to like make these cards good. So it's like, is it good that they can't be targeted or destroyed? I mean, that's good, but what else does it do for you? Like, cards do way more now. And then this card's old, so it's like, what are you going to do? And then the true name, declare card name, activate the top card of your deck, and if it's a declared card, you get to add it to your hand. Now, I know there's card advance. Card advance is all fine and dandy. We'll look at that real quick, which is, what it's basically designed for. It's also a double summon, which is pretty neat. But like, this is the only way to stack in the deck? Like, you're just like, yeah, man, I hope you have these 2 cards in your hand. Like, that's the strategy? Because this card could be good, right? Stacking cards on your deck and being able to add what you want and then, so on and so forth is great. But there needs to be a card that's like, stack 1 card that has either Obelisk, Slifer, or the Winged Dragon of Ra. Like, stack that card to your deck. Like, that's what this archetype needs. if this card, if it says take 500 damage to activate this card, stack on top of your deck, you know, a card that has the Winged Dragon of Ra, Slifer, whatever the case, all the Egyptian gods on the top of your deck, that could trigger Guardian Slime. That helps you stack with the True Name. Like, that card needs to come out desperately. If that card doesn't come out, like, these cards will never be usable in a real sense, right? And then last, I believe it's called, you know, Egyptian God Slime. This card's also pretty good. Must be either Fusion Summon or Special Summon by tripping a, you know, level 10. This card can be treated as 1 or 3. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Also great. Your opponent cannot target... your opponent's monsters cannot target for attacks, and your opponents cannot target with card effects any monster you control except this card. This card's insane. This card's really good. It's not insane, but it's good. It's good for the archetype, right? So what are my overall thoughts? Most of these cards, a lot of these cards are good. Something like that. A lot of these cards are half decent. But without a way to, like, add them to your hand on a consistent basis, they're useless. Because what happens if your opening hand is just, like, Soul Crossing, Thunder Force Attack, Mound of the Bound Creator, the True Name, and, like, Sphere Mode? You're not doing it. Or, like, even Guardian Slime, right? There needs to be a way to bring this all together. I don't know what that is, but, yeah, I don't know. They're just my thoughts. I just wanted to go over everything because a lot of these cards kind of slipped in everywhere. I think the Egyptian gods are going to be the focus point of the next Megaton, so maybe that's when these, like, actual good cards will come out because we'll try to sell them, but I have little hope because all the cards that came out recently have just been getting worse and worse. With the exception of this, maybe it's trending in the right direction. What do you guys think about all this Egyptian god support? Let me know in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.